As I think about adoption when you come to a restructure, I thought about what are they really adopting, right? Are they adopting the restructure? And that's not really what they're adopting. They actually need to adopt the new way of working together. So that they need to, even in the most basic restructures, when people call us, they're asking leaders to lead without authority. And they're asking leaders to work across functions. And that lack of adoption shows up when they don't do that. A couple of real life examples are, the senior leadership team who is driving the restructure. They're not communicating with each other as a leadership team. They won't suboptimize some of their goals for the good of the organization. They're supposed to be the most cross-functional team working together, and those leaders are just driving their businesses as if they're the presidents of their own companies. So they're really positioning. It amazes me how much trouble is caused by the leadership level in an organization, right? And a lot of things focus on the lower levels and teaching them how to collaborate, how to work together, how to do project management, all critical skills that they need to learn. But if you can get leadership right, if you can get them all working together on the same page, working off the same set of priorities, then the rest of the organization can follow. And that's where adoption doesn't come in to play. So, for example, I told a story before about a senior leader who ran a line of business for a product group, and sales no longer reported to him. If he didn't work with the sales team, he wouldn't be able to achieve his goals. The thing is, the sales teams need their products as well to achieve their goals. But lack of adoption, the sales team was out driving whatever they want to drive. So they didn't care that other product lines weren't getting their products sold because they were only targeting and driving what they wanted to drive. And that hurts the organizations at many levels, from a portfolio perspective, from a product sales perspective. So I've seen it where the senior leaders, they don't want to work together. Another way that another way that a lack of adoption is actually demonstrated is when senior leaders won't spend the time learning how to run the business horizontally. They just want to deal with the org structure and then everybody else should figure it out, when they're pivotal to making this thing work. So when they don't want to spend half a day or a day figuring out have they set up the business to succeed, then most likely this restructure and that major change isn't going to work, and they'll restructure again. In order to deal with the lack of adoption, some of the things that from a change perspective we do is you'll often find that there's one leader, a champion, who gets it. And in one organization, a very large organization, we worked with one leader who led a group of 800 to 1,000 staff, and they were big enough in themselves to be their own matrix. So they really were struggling even within their own division with matrix challenges. So we actually focused on that part of the business, so that starting to affect change at smaller levels can start to demonstrate and engage groups at a larger level. So for us, we targeted one group. We had an OD professional inside who, as a partner, really knew who to target. We had a really strong change agent of a leader. We worked within that function in his leadership team. And he actually invited the other stakeholders who might not have been aligned into meetings to learn about it. So it wasn't a directive, it was an invite, and that was a good way to start the conversation. Honestly, if we don't have leadership buy-in, we don't want to work with them. They need to own it. And I think part of the reason things fail is because consultants bring solutions that the leadership team doesn't really own and implement, so that it becomes the consultant solution. So when it doesn't work, they've got a scapegoat. For us, we talk about collaboration. We believe that we're in a collaborative partnership with our clients as well. So we can't do it without them. And they need to really buy in to the approach and the methodology to be able to do that.